Welcome to Today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford. Expert advice on improving your home from remodeling contractor Danny Lipford and the home improvement pros from Today's Homeowner magazine.
Welcome to the show this week. You know, so many times homeowners are looking for ways to expand their living area in their home. And many times one of the most common ways is to enclose the existing garage. Now, you hate to give up your garage, so we're adding a space on the front of this garage to maintain that car space, but also converting the rest of the area into a very nice game room. Now, also, to compensate for the loss of storage there, we're creating a storage area here and relocating an existing half bath and laundry room into this area. Now, by relocating that, we're creating a very nice eating area adjacent to the kitchen. Now, we'll look at all of this in this week's show and show you the completed project and probably give you some ideas you can use around your home. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show. One of the most frustrating times in any remodeling project is right now when you're waiting on the building inspector. Now, before we got to this point where basically we're ready to pour concrete, we had our plumber come by and take care of the rough end of his water and drain lines. Now, you'll notice the protective sleeves that we have around all of the copper lines. This is to protect it where it penetrates into the concrete slab because of the corrosive nature of concrete. And basically, this is just a little round plastic or rubberized sleeve that will fit over all of this. The red sleeves for all of your hot water, your blue for your cold, and this will really protect it over the years. Now, of course, the plumber had to have his inspection as well. You can see the acceptance sticker here on the air vent, and normally they'll make a notation on the permit itself. Now, after that, we were able to put the rest of our dirt in, pack it out well, and have our pre-treatment for our termites. Now, the exterminating company that currently has the bond on the house came by to take care of that. Then we put down our 6mm vapor barrier and our reinforcement wire, and now we're ready to pour that concrete. Now, I mentioned the pre-treatment for termites. Let me show you why that's so important. Well, I'm not sure what happened on this corner of the original garage, but apparently termites have found their way into the building. They probably worked their way up the back side of the concrete into the base of the 2x4 and continued eating away right up and even destroyed the beam that originally went over the garage door. Of course, we're expanding the garage out about 13 feet, so this won't need any type of beam like that. So that's not a problem. We discarded the beam, but we will need to replace all of the wood here on the corner because this is an important area of the framing. Now, talking about the foundation itself, now this is the original slab of the garage, and we'll be extending it out in the same level, the 13 to 14 feet, to expand the garage. But over on this side, you'll notice where I was at a few minutes ago is raised up about 5 or 6 inches. That's to match the level with the house because we'll have an opening there leading out into the new area. Now, the same goes for the area back here. We have a form built here. This is where the game room will start, and this level is the same as the existing house, as well as the raised area that was originally the storage area here in the garage. So all of this will be poured out with concrete so that it all matches with the floor level of the house. Now, because we're waiting on the inspector out here, there's not a lot of work going on, but inside's a different story. Well, with drywall coming down, insulation filtering down, basically this is a rough part of the job right now because with all the ceilings out, all of the heat from the attic is just pouring down into this area. It's over 100 degrees right now. Pretty tough working conditions. But the demolition has to take place. And to give you an idea of what we had before we started, this was a small laundry room on this side. Then you had a little hallway here. And then you had a small half bath on this side, a little breaker box right in the wall that's really going to prove to be a challenge for us because we have to relocate all of the wires that come into the sub panel to a place that adheres to code and out of the way of this area because this was the original breakfast room. Once we remove all of this, cap off all of the plumbing, it will give the homeowners the kind of breakfast room they really wanted. Now, I know it's a little confusing talking about these different areas, but let me show you the plans and how it'll look once everything's complete. and you'll get a good idea of how well laid out everything will be. Basically, we're standing right in the middle of the remodeled eating area. Over on this side you have the kitchen. Over here we have our bay window. Then in the new area we have the utility room or laundry room. It's a good bit larger. Then you have the little half bath here, and we've replaced the storage in this area that we had removed out in the garage. Then the game room falls in here, and plenty of room for the garage. So we're taking care of everything the homeowners really wanted in this remodeling project, and before the end of the show we'll show you how it all comes together in the completed stage. Stay with us.
Get ready to review your fix-it list as Danny and today's Homeowner Magazine repair and maintenance editor Joe Truini show you this week's simple solution. Brought to you by Dodge.
Well, Joe, it looks like shelf building time here.
Yeah, that's right, Danny. I've got this 1x10 and I'm drilling holes for an adjustable shelf. Now the challenge is to, first of all, not drill completely through the piece, but you also want the holes all exactly the same depth. Now what I did is I just took a piece of masking tape and I wrapped it around the bit, and this little tape flag helps blow away the dust as you're drilling down. And so as you're drilling, when you see the clear wood surface, the clean wood surface, then you stop drilling. And then every hole will be exactly the same depth.
Now I can see where this would work for a small number of holes like you're drilling here, but what if you're really drilling a lot of holes?
Well, eventually the masking tape will tear or get ripped off completely. And so here's another method where you can take a wooden dowel, or in this case it's just a short piece of 1x1, and you drill a hole through the middle and you leave the bit sticking out the depth of the hole. And then you just set it down and drill right into the wood without any fear of drilling too deeply.
Okay, great. Let me give it a try here. Yeah, it works great.
The other advantage of this system is that you can hold on to the drill guide and keep the drill right on the mark.
And I can see where it would also be beneficial to use this method if you're drilling on a vertical surface like a wall where you're drilling a lot of holes. You could just go down and really have a lot of control on it.
Right, because the masking tape flag won't work on a vertical surface, of course, because the dust is falling down and doesn't have anything to brush away.
Great. Well, you got a few more holes here to do.
All right, keep going. I'll check back on you later.
Okay. Well, the building inspector finally made it out and cleared the way for us to pour our concrete for our foundation. And the crew has really been busy framing the garage as well as the addition to the home. Now, if you've ever been around a crew of framers, they tend to use a lot of funny terms like sole plate, strong back, pack stud. These are all terms that have been around the building trades for hundreds of years. Now, with the project at this stage, gives me a great opportunity to show you just what these terms mean. One of the terms I mentioned earlier was sole plate, and just like the soles on the bottom of your shoe, the sole plate sits right down on the floor and your studs nail right to the top of it. Now this is treated wood since it's in contact with concrete, and it's also called a rat seal or a bottom plate. Now we attach this to the floor since it's an interior wall just by using masonry nails, but on our perimeter walls or the outside walls we use what we call a J-bolt. The J-bolt goes down into the wet concrete, then you drill a hole in the plate, slip it over it, then attach it well with a nut and a washer. Works great and provides that strength you need on those outside walls. Now on top of the plate you have your studs that attach to it. These are 2x4s. They're on 16-inch centers, which is very typical. Sometimes you'll go to 24-inch centers in, say, a storage building or something along those lines, but on most residential construction you want them on 16-inch centers. Now 2x4s are the most common, but many people will use 2x6s when they need that extra strength or they need the extra space to put in more insulation in the wall, such as some of the northern areas in the country. Now to make it even stronger, you can put in purling blocking like we have here. Some people also call this fire stop blocking. This provides some good stability to the wall, and these are also required anytime your walls get above 10 feet. We put them in just for some extra strength since this is the wall between the garage and the game room. Now right on top of your studs you have your plates. You have your top plate and your double plate that provide the surface for all of your ceiling joist and some of your roof rafters to sit on top of. To take a look at those, let's go upstairs. Now two terms that are constantly confused in building construction are joist and rafters. Now these are joist, which are horizontal pieces of wood. They sit on top of the walls. They're generally 16 inches spaced like these are, and we've used 2x10s, which is very important consideration. When you have a large span, you need to really check carefully with an engineer or a local building inspector to determine exactly what size wood you need for a particular span. This particular span's a little over 20 feet, so 2x10s on 16-inch centers were just right. But to strengthen it a little bit more, we use what we call a strong back. Now, it can be built in several different ways. The way we've done this one, 2x4, laid down on top of the ceiling joist, nailed down. Then we have a 2x8 on the side of it that we nail to the joist as well as into the 2x4. This really stiffens all of the ceiling joist and provides a little bit more rigidity to the overall structure. Also, you can see they've supported some of the roof off of the strong back. Now, talking about the roof rafters, these are the rafters generally on 24-inch centers, and your plywood decking is nailed, of course, to the top of it. Top of that, you have your building felt and shingles on top of that. Now, the thing here, in order to stiffen this up a little bit, we go back with a purling bracing, similar to the purling bracing we had in the wall, but this goes along, attaches to some stiff legs that are going down and some little blocks up under it. Now, before they put all of this structure in, they take a nylon string and pull it good and tight to line all of these rafters up so that once everything's nailed in, it'll stay nice and straight. Now, another support mechanism we use is what we call collar bracing, also called wind bracing or storm bracing. We've used 2x4s. You see many times people use 1x6s or 1x8s. As long as you nail them up good and try to put one at least every other rafter, then you'll be in good shape on your overall roof structure. I hope some of these terms will help you. Next time you're out with a crew of framers, you'll be able to talk their type of jargon. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
It's time to check out this week's best new product with Danny and today's Homeowner Magazine Editor-in-Chief, Paul Spring. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
You know, Danny, when we're picking best new products, one of the things we like best is a manufacturer already does something well and then they're not satisfied. That's what Marvin's done with this Clad Ultimate window, is they tried to put 100 new improvements into it.
Well, we don't have time to go through all 100, Paul, but I do see a few of the features here with the aluminum cladding on the outside. It's a double insulated window and really a lot of detail in all of the buttons that you have on the window.
There is, Danny. This aluminum comes in 5 different shades, that lowy glass on the windows. You can see the screen track. There's a spring-fitted pin that goes in there that makes those very easy, and it comes with a window. But my favorite stuff's on the inside. Let me show you.
Okay, let me spin it around here. Okay.
Well, tilt sash windows have been around a long time now, but not this tilt sash. If you turn the sash lock like this and see this little lever right here, pull that toward you, and voila, it releases the pins, and your window is all the way open.
So just little spring-loaded keepers on the end there.
Exactly, and you can see how when I throw this lever, you can see those keepers move back and forward, and you introduce the window back the same way.
Now, also notice that there's none of the metal tracking along the edge here, and none of the guides that really show up.
The sash liner, that's right, Danny, and often they're either metal or they're white vinyl. If you're paying for a beautiful wood window like this, you want wood, and that's what Marvin has done, and just minimize that sash liner.
Well, with the quality of wood and so forth, I mean, easy stain job.
It is. It can look just as beautiful as you want on the inside. That's what you're paying for. These start about $350.
Welcome back to the show. Now, our garage conversion project has really taken shape, and over the last few weeks, we've had the vinyl siding installed, our roofers have completed all of their work, and on the interior, the drywall is up and finished, and our trim carpenter's been by to install all of the cabinetry and all of the trim. Now, one of the guys that's responsible for this job running so smoothly is Job Superintendent Wiley Bullock. Well, Wiley, it won't be long. You'll be turning this project over to the homeowner.
Yeah, about a week and a half.
Okay, now Tile Man's here. I know take him a couple days to get his work completed.
That's right. Today he's here to install the tile. Tomorrow he'll come back and grout the area. And then, of course, next week's the big week.
The big week with electrician, plumber, air conditioning man, probably a couple of painters doing some touch-ups, and then we'll be able to turn the key over with it.
That's correct. The first 2 or 3 days, the plumbers, electricians doing all their major installations of the appliances and the fixtures and such. And then, of course, the painters will be toward the end of the week to come by and touch everything up.
Now, whole project has gone very smoothly. Now, why don't you tell our viewers how this homeowner really contributed to the success of this job?
Well, her timely selections, of course, any project, of course, when you start, you try to give them an idea what you need first. And then, of course, this homeowner helped by making those selections.
You know, a good example of that is just like the tile that's being installed right now. You know, it took a couple weeks in order to get the installer out because of his schedule. Prior to that, it took over a week to get the tile. And then, of course, it took a couple weeks for the homeowner to really make up her decision on that. So that's why it's so important to make those selections very early. Now, I see that they're doing something that a lot of our customers do when we remodel their kitchens.
Well, that's correct. Here we have the old kitchen cabinets that we're reusing in his workspace in the garage.
You know, a good place to use wall-hung cabinets out of a kitchen is over your washer and dryer. A lot of times you have maybe just a shelf or just not adequate space for storage in your laundry room. It's perfect to utilize some of those old cabinets. Just paint them in some new hardware and no one knows that you didn't buy brand new ones. Now, of course, you're working on your punch list right now. I'm anxious to see how the tile man's doing.
Okay.
And one of the things the homeowners wanted to accomplish in this project is a nice large breakfast room. And this one being 13 feet by 17 feet, I think we handled that. Also, they wanted the area open between the newly remodeled kitchen and, of course, the breakfast room. Now we have all of the cabinets in, the solid surface countertop, and as Wiley mentioned, the electrician and plumber will be by next week to install all of our appliances and have this place completely finished. Right now, the pressure's on James, our tile setter.
Hey, Dan, just give me a couple more days, buddy. I have it done.
Okay, 2 days is all you get. Now he'll be installing all of the ceramic here in the kitchen, here in the breakfast area, and instead of the breakfast area flooring ending here, they've extended the tile on over 4 feet so that anybody coming in the back door can come right onto the tile without tracking on any of the carpet we'll have out on this side. Now also the ceramic will continue into the rear entryway and the new laundry room, which is a fairly good sized laundry room, and also it'll extend on into the little half bath that we have at the end of the hall. Now once all that's completed, we'll be able to show you just exactly what it looks like. So we'll wait about a week and a half and see if Wiley can put everything together. Stay with us for this around the yard, and after that, we'll show you the finished product.
Now let's go outside for Around the Yard with Danny and lawn and garden expert Barbara Katz. Brought to you by Scott's Lawn Products for a great lawn, guaranteed.
Just about everybody has some type of a leaf blower that they use in their yards these days. But there's a few things to remember when you work with them.
One thing, use it in good dry conditions, whether it's a driveway or the yard, because it really works a lot better when it's nice and dry. Now this is an electric model that a lot of people have, and with this size yard, it's just right, but they're also available in gasoline models.
The professional landscapers tend to work with the gas because they're a lot more powerful and they can just go over a wide area. But the electrics do have some advantages. Some of them are a lot lighter, they certainly seem to be quieter, and they're a little easier to turn on.
You know, another good point is instead of trying to blow a large amount of leaves from one area to the other, just make small piles, then you can rake it up, put it in your garbage bag, and put it in your compost pile. Or if you have a model like this one, you can change from blower to a vacuum just with a flip of a lever like that.
They do make a lot of noise, in fact, whether they're gas or electric, and you do have to think about your hearing. So it's important to protect your ears when you work with this, and also protect your eyes.
And respect your neighbors because they are fairly loud, so you'd hate to use it early in the morning or late in the afternoon. It's better to get your work done with your leaf blower right in the middle of the day. Now this is where the old meets the new. Blends in pretty well, which is always your goal when you're adding on to your home. Now inside, you really can't tell where the old meets the new either because the new game room that was created by utilizing a portion of the old garage looks just like it's part of the original house, as does the new addition we built to accommodate the new laundry room, half bath, and garage. Now with the added square footage, the homeowners can have the large breakfast room and open kitchen they always wanted. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you next week.